Hello, and welcome to another episode of Muprov Musings. This is episode number 30. I'm one of your hosts, Hal Munger, and joining me now on the line is your other host, Julian Bernardo.
Welcome to this wonderful, beautiful episode that we are having. It is just me and Hal today because we do have a bit of a protracted episode.
So without further ado, this has been Muprov
Musings. My sign off for this episode is that we've been kicking around this concept of a sign off palooza. As you may know, these sign offs that we have at the end of the episodes are some of our truest musings about day-to-day life activities or improv type stuff. And that's going to make up the bulk of this episode, is us going through some sick sign-offs that we have, because we do have some sick sign-offs, right, Hal?
Yeah, this is probably the sickest week of sign-offs that we're ever going to have. I just got back from Impro Amsterdam, and that has blown my improvisational brain into smithereens, and I can't wait to tell Julian about it. I haven't talked to him at all yet. It is life-changing. We've got a surprise giveaway. If you stick around to the end of the episode, you might have something given to you. That's something that you really want, too. So you have to get there. Julian, you're getting a giveaway of your own, right?
Yeah, I won a giveaway that Hal was holding. I was the only entrant, but it's going to be my birthday present from Hal that I opened live.
Wow, so that's also coming up at the end of the episode. Julian, you might sing on this episode, or is that fake news?
I don't know where that comes from, but hey, we'll see what happens.
I don't know. I was looking. We don't know what each other have planned. I'm just looking at Julian's.
We have some vague notes, each of us.
But you're gonna want to hear. You're gonna want to hear all this stuff, and also, I think it's a milestone that we're having a goofy episode.
Yeah,
this is episode 30.
30. We've cranked out 30 of these. Each one is at least an hour. We have some content out there.
Mm-hmm. And most podcasts die at episode 7.
Ooh. Yeah. We have enough content that the AI truly could scrape it and make versions of us. Before we even get into the Signoffpalooza, though, maybe we should flag what's coming next in Muprov Musings.
Smart. What's coming next is that you're going to follow us on Spotify. You're going to follow us on Apple Music. You're going to share it with your friends. But what's coming next week is Fundamentals of Improv Series. 10 episodes, baby.
So we're going to be talking about, learning the fundamentals of improv. And this is something that does look pretty different in the way that we want to present it than probably many of you, if you don't come from our same school of improv. It's going to be different than what you know. It'll also be a fun time, even if you do have improv experience. We're going to be talking meta to a decent degree about what it's like to run, an introductory improv class and some of the things that you should keep in mind there. So it's good for everybody. It's the wonder pill. So come and take it.
Yeah, I haven't run this by Julian yet, but I'm very into the brand of fundamentals rather than introduction. So it might be your introduction. Fundamentals are important at every level, but I've got this book called Lessons in the Fundamentals of Go. It's an awesome book, but it's talking about like fundamentals are the difference between a really bad player and like someone who's okay, and they're also the difference between a 4-dan player and a 9-dan player, or those are really good players, right. So it's like kind of your first stage in the journey and your last stage in the journey revolve around fundamentals. And then a lot of the middle is like, oh, I got better at these like little tricksy.
Yeah. Well, we'll get hyped for your improv cranium getting blown up in the next week's episode, but put your improv cranium away for now.
Because... No, I'm going to blow it up again.
Okay. Sure. Keep your improv cranium out. It's getting blown.
Yeah, I just went to Impro Amsterdam, and my improv cranium was like fully exploded. My takeaway is I genuinely want to try to move to Amsterdam next year. I don't know how possible that is visa-wise, but I think that if I got a remote job in the US and then tried to get a residence visa rather than a work visa, because I don't have that many skills. I don't know. But I'm genuinely gonna start applying to stuff and reaching out to people and seeing if there's any way for me to get over there.
All right, I'm Mr. Incredible trying to hold back the train right now. First, tell us what is Impro Amsterdam? What is that?
So it is a festival that it's been going on for 25 years. It switches artistic directors every 3 years, and I think that actually changes it quite a bit. This was the third year of this artistic director. And it is a combination of the local teams performing and so a local cast who auditions for this festival. So it's not really a local team, but it's a group of local people, and then basically plucking some of the best improvisers from around the world. So Lisa Rowland, who was on the podcast before, who is the best improviser that I know in the United States, was picked from the United States to come here. And they had really good improvisers from different countries who all were thrown together into an international cast. And it was crazy. The improviser from India was insane. The improviser from Mexico was really, really good. The improviser from Germany directed the show that was like, what? There was a crazy musical improviser from Norway that was doing insane musical stuff. There was a really funny person from France. The whole world was teaming up to make really, really enjoyable shows.
Well, that sounds freaking epic. Just give me some of the big highlight epic shows that you saw. I heard a little bit from Will about how some of the troops were doing things that was like kind of blended multimedia, not necessarily multimedia, but we're doing things that like incorporated like dance and more abstract type concepts. So that's what I have heard about, but it sounds like there's a lot that I have not heard about.
I got to be careful not to run away with the entire episode. But the first night that I saw was the local teams, or it was one local, one abroad. The local team immediately struck me as this is very, very good. And this is just the people who live in Amsterdam. That's part of why I want to get over there. It felt similar to a New Play Night 4 in some ways, in that it was called After Parties, and you saw 4 different scenes from people who had all been attending the same party. And then you were supposed to see the party itself, but that part of the show didn't really work because it timed out. They only had 50 minutes. If they'd had 90 minutes, it would have been crazy. But we saw like 2 minutes of the party and then it blacked. But each of the 4 scenes was very dynamic and theatrical. And I was laughing throughout, but also they were heartfelt, and just everyone was really good is maybe one way of saying that, in a way that I was really excited about. It felt like people were saying lines of dialogue, and in a theater, there were sets and there were set changes, a la physical improvisers from a New Play. The New Play was the show. You got to listen to the podcast. Just keep up. It's a show that I directed at Stanford. And they also had these transitions where they were doing these really funny dances to get this stuff on and off the set. So everything was resonating with me. I was just excited, and that was just the first show that I saw.
Wow.
The next night there were 2 more shows. Swedes.
Ooh.
I don't want to bury the Swede. But the show that really was blowing my mind was Baba's Tales, which have you heard about from Will already?
Oh, yes. I've heard about this one.
That was directed by the improviser from Germany. He was Baba, telling a story to a big cast of people. There were like 9 people on stage the whole time. And Baba would be telling a story, and they'd be all like, come on, Baba, like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make sense. And kind of it would go back and forth between that and Baba's Tale, which was this giant mythological, hugely physical and emotional show this was the first narrative show really that was there. All of this had felt like dramatic short form, in my opinion, which is a kind of interesting twist, where it was very theatrical and dramatic, but less connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had so much of the technology that we'd been working like with the Lumiere. They had multi-body creatures. They had stuff I'd never seen before. There was a combat scene where the musical improviser, who was one of the main characters of the show, was fighting Death. And every time Death came at him, he would like beat his bongo drum, and the other guy would make like he was getting punched, like boom, 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 boom. It was like so clean, and there were always 9 people on stage, and there was such high energy, and everyone was saying all these lines. It was crazy that they all died and were like reunited in death. Like it was nuts. It was just maybe the best improv show I've ever seen.
How would you describe the tone of it? You're describing a lot of this stuff as like dramatic. Was this and a lot of these other things were they also like humorous in the way that like a play can be funny?
Oh yeah, it was really funny.
Serious?
It was really funny because it kept on breaking away to like, Baba, what are you talking about? like if they just die? Like, well, no, you have to change the story. And Baba would be like, okay, fine, I'll change the story. Yeah. But Baba really reminded me of Will. He was doing crazy physical stuff and like slicing people open and tearing out their hearts. And it was insane.
Yeah. So are there things from any of the improv that you saw out there that you really want to like take back? Or yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you could take back the Baba's Tales part of it because that's very cultural. But certainly the idea of the walking musical improviser is very exciting. The Mimping In show, and the idea of having, someone telling a story and that story happening on stage, and just the idea of having that many people on stage. But ultimately part of what was just the skill of all of the people on stage was just way higher than our skill, is one way of saying that.
Yeah.
without being too detrimental to myself or the other people I play with. It felt like similar to how I felt when I went to Admit Weekend at Stanford. And I'd been improvising in high school for a long time. Then I saw the Stanford improvisers play, and I was like, whoa. Like, I'm excited to try to go join that and to learn what those people are doing. But it feels like a level. Yeah. Because it was in a huge theater, with maybe like 150 people in the audience and really good improvised technicians. Like the lights were pulsing in sync with the sound. And I asked him how he was doing it, and he just smiled and started wiggling his fingers. Like he was basically, and a really good improvised audio person who was doing sound effects and had a big music bank. And really, really good musical improviser. The sets, it's just like, it felt so professional. They awesome. Don't have narrative down the way that we do. Baba's Tales was a very simple story that was arcing out of like this kind of mythological scale. And there were a couple other nights that had, but it's not like it's much more they're doing a play rather than a movie, is one way of saying that.
Yeah. That tracks. And so then I got to press on the kind of the hook here. Of all of this, how does this make you want to move to Amsterdam? Where does this part come? Just in the sense that most of this was stuff that you saw at the festival, where and I know you noted that you were also quite impressed with the local troops, but yeah, why Amsterdam?
Oh, why Amsterdam? Well, again, this is kind of the heart of it. I think the artistic director of the whole festival and the co-artistic director and all the people who picked out these specific theatrically talented improvisers from around the world. Like, it's not like they went to US and were like, let's get the best person from UCB or whatever. Yeah. They were like, let's get Lisa Rowland, right. They're there and they have a theater there. And like, if you look at it's similar to the theater where you are in Michigan, where you can audition for them and every 3 months they do a show. But the shows that they've done recently, they did Improvised Studio Ghibli, which is like my dream format. Like, I think I would want to do more than that. They did Improvise The Matrix. Right now they're doing some sort of like, I think like an ancient sort of bloodline succession-y kind of plot thing.
Yeah. So that's where the like-minded people are, is your read?
Maybe. I don't know. And I'm not even sure that I could get in if I audition,
Yeah. What is this organization out there that like put this on and stuff? Is it, you're saying there's like one theater that
Impro Amsterdam is its own organization.
I see.
and that's been going on for 25 years. But there are 3 improv theaters in Amsterdam, and one of the 3 was formed more recently. It's called Flock Theater, and that is where a lot of the artistic directing team came from. And that's the one that I'm describing. The other 2, one of them is an American style one, and then one is like a sort of hybrid.
I see. Well, that's awesome.
Have I already wasted the whole episode?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
we should get out of this. But there was a show called Bride that was phenomenal. Also, I saw it and I was like, maybe now this is the best improv show I've ever seen. And Lisa was in it and was doing crazy work in that show.
Awesome.
And there was a show called Just Play that was in the New York, what I would call a kind of New York style, or like the 3 people scenes morph randomly from one thing to another, and it's comedy. But these 3 French guys, one of them was the artistic director of the festival, and it would have made John Mistally like the happiest man alive. I was laughing the entire time. It was just so funny.
Yeah.
And they were using objects that they took from the audience. They had hand cream and a deck of playing cards and a 1-wheel skateboard. And they were just using it in ridiculous ways. It was morphing between. And some of the funniest moments were like, this guy's 2 daughters died. And I was like, he started falling. He was crying, and one of the other people started putting the playing cards above him like leaves falling down, like in a show.
Yeah.
And then they were both trying to do it, and then they started throwing the leaves at each other. So 2 of them were really mad at each other and throwing these cards back and forth. Yeah. And the guy was just in the front crying, and he had just like his daughters had just realistically died, and he was just sobbing. And there were these leaves falling down, but you could see the other guys like angrily throwing. So funny.
That's awesome.
It was awesome.
And this festival happens every year?
Happens every year. Yeah. At some point in your life, you got to get there, Julian.
Yeah, that is sick. So my sign off is, as we keep this Palooza trucking on, I'm trying to think about which one. And I think I want to first talk about what I did for my birthday. Zoom out of the macro world global improv state into the very micro silly stuff that happened for my birthday this last Friday. So I thought it would be really funny, and I was in part inspired by you, Hal, because you had a birthday one year that I went to that was very strange. There's a lot of weird things going on. And I made that realization that when it's your birthday, like you can kind of have people do whatever, and like they got to put up with it to some decent degree. And so I really trolled throughout the week. I mentioned the birthday was going to be a competition and referred to it in full ambiguity up until that point. And we didn't even get through the competition for my birthday. But I planned out different trials that I put all my friends through, and some of them were more simple. They were like, just like a classic like find the egg hunt kind of trial. But some of them were. I think my favorite one that they got through was, most of my friends are in the stats PhD, and I made for them like a very troll stats midterm that they had to take during the party, and it had questions that required you to know a lot about statistics to answer, but they were very stupid questions that like no statistician would ever ask. And the troll thing is I had such a lore to it and like so much more to it, but people just kind of like left maybe halfway through because it was just taking a really long time to get through the trials. So like there's an imposter that it was among them that I had been feeding answers that nobody knows about. And I had been making all of these little details, like changes to my outfit throughout the night that they were supposed to be noting. And then later there would be a trial where they had to kind of point those out. But I'm sitting in this weird space where the second half of my birthday party sits in the ether as a hypothetical reality.
So people just left?
Yeah, I mean, in the natural party way, just as the night went on, some people had to go. And then, most people left by the end of the fourth trial.
It's the wrong time. Julian, you got to get back to the same location that I'm in.
Get back to the same location that you're in?
Yeah.
Oh, so as to be able to do the party in its entirety, or what do you
Yeah,
mean?
I wouldn't have left your party.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I truly no sweat to those who did. Because it did take way longer because I had to freaking grade the exams while in between trials.
That's
And
unhinged.
that was when people had to leave.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that you had to leave, the people stopped doing the exam partway through rather than just left the party. But
No, those who were around for the exam stuck around and did it.
did you feel like they were having fun or did you feel like they left?
Oh, I think that they were having fun. Except maybe they stopped having fun when I was grading for like 30 minutes. Um,
Well, I think that might have been the flaw in the overall design. You needed someone to plan something for that time.
yeah, I should have had a more automatic.
You could have just had the second half of your party next week.
That's true. People are floating, yeah, keeping it, but it's hard because I want to be able to maintain all of the scores because each round was scored and there's points and a leaderboard. That I would want there to be some continuity with. But yeah, that was something fun that I did recently, and it's just I've been thinking ever since being out here about seeing through the social matrix and just realizing like those facts of life, like you can just make people do troll stuff at your birthday party, and taking full advantage of it.
It's still kind of an improv sign off, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah.
It kind of is, but yeah.
Okay, so my next sign off is a micro sign off. This is just something that made me laugh at work.
Yeah.
Which is, this is a bad thing. It shouldn't have made me laugh, but we've got this little, I work in a preschool. We've got this little 2-year-old boy who's obsessed with buses. And he has a little toy bus that he carries everywhere with him. He's always getting into fights with other kids who try to take his bus. We often have to put it in his backpack, and then he like tries to escape to go get his backpack. He loves this bus. I made him a giant bus that has zippers all over it. He loves buses. And I didn't see this, but he apparently came to school like more distraught than anyone had ever seen him in his.
Oh no.
Emotionally wrecked. And the story behind what has happened is that he's going to school, he's walking, and he drops his bus, and a bus runs over it.
Oh no.
Can you imagine, like, one of my coworkers was saying that it might be his first memory ever.
Yeah.
It'd be like if you we're building a temple to a god and you had all these effigies, and then the god came and destroyed your temple. Or if you were like walking with your mom and then a giant mom came and ate your mom.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way to put those two things together.
Do you think this boy is gonna learn the right lesson from this, or no? Or the wrong lesson?
That was yesterday, and today he came in with a cool looking race car. So I think that his parents realized
he has a new god.
he has a new god, and perhaps that is going to be the new thing. So he's all right. But
I'm interested to know if he's gonna if you're not going to want to mention buses around him, like if that's going to be something that's very upsetting to him.
I don't know. He was still singing the wheels on the bus today. So okay. I think he's going to be okay. Otherwise I wouldn't have told the story.
That's wonderful. I mean, it's very hilarious that you get to witness early stage people, right? Because that's all they are. They're just early people.
Yeah.
They're just going to be like me and you.
All right. Back to you, Julian.
Okay, so sure, let's go with this next sign off. So my sign off is that, did you know that running is canceled? And maybe this is late in the game for me to find this out, but the running is canceled.
No, Julian, running's only canceled. Starting running is canceled.
I don't know what you mean by that. Actually, explain what you mean by that. Starting running is canceled.
It's really hard to start running if you don't run.
Oh, sure. But it's not canceled, right? Like society says you can and should start running if you want.
No, I think society generally acknowledges that starting running is that's a bad time.
Right. It's hard. It's difficult. but it's not canceled, right? Nobody would look down on you for starting running, right? It's not a cancelable offense in the same way that, you know, doing a lot of like problematic things would be a problem.
Okay,
Cancel.
so unbury your lead.
Okay, the fact of the matter is everybody's been telling me that you should not be running, that running is bad. Running is bad for you.
For your knees?
Yeah, for your knees. I mean that's part of it. But it's probably been like 3 or 4 times that I've heard in the past 3 months that running is bad for you. When I had just started running recently and I've been getting into it, and is not the picturesque view of running in society that of a healthy activity that is supposed to be good for you, that, oh, I'm starting to run in this new year. I'm a good little boy.
I think you're over I think that movement is good for you and that you're probably not running the amount that can do the damage.
Oh, you don't think I'm running the amount that can do the damage? You think that my little legs couldn't get me half as far as it takes for me to even splinter a single shin that I have? No, you think
Well,
that
you
I
can mess
run
that
very...
up just by not stretching properly and stuff like that. But every form of exercise that you do like fucks you up in some way. My body's so fucked.
So what's the point? What's the point of any of it?
Because
That's been
not
my
doing
humor take.
exercise also fucks your.
So we're fucked. We just got to choose how we want to. We want it. You know, I've started dancing while I run, and that makes it way more fun. You know about this concept?
Yeah, I mean that's the only way I can run.
Oh, you dance while you run too?
I mean I don't, not intentionally, but
No, I have like a very specific playlist that I listen to when I run,
mhm.
and I know all the songs very well, and so I dance to them. There'll be nice little movements.
Do you know the concept of slow-mo running?
No, only
It's
by name.
it's more fun in a crowded place, but it's
Uh-huh.
exactly what you think.
Okay.
It's running in slow motion. It's actually a really good workout because your legs are bent the whole time. So it's a really intense thigh workout, and people look at you really funny.
How do you play the moment of switching between feet? Because your feet got to be off the ground, and then gravity is uncontrollable, right?
You got to be strong.
You okay?
Just
Just be
work
strong.
on it. You're an improviser.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll just work on it.
All right. So my sign off is related to the Impro Amsterdam thing. I really want to apply there for next year. I don't think I'll get it, but I was crafting what I would apply with if I did.
Yeah.
And this is a show that I think will blow Julian's mind. It's related to something that you have directed 4 times, which Julian has directed a slasher show 4 times.
Yeah.
The idea is a new slasher.
Okay.
Combining
I'm
a new play
it.
with slasher. Basically, you invert the entire color scheme of a new play. So now all the character improvisers are wearing white and are totally ready to be bloodied. And all the physical improvisers and props and everything are black. So you can have these kind of weapons and various props. The whole stage is this ghostly white, and the lights are often off, so you can't see what's going on. And it's just these dim black figures moving against this white background in the dark. And the physical improvisers are the slasher. Or they function like, if someone's getting killed, they're the people who are holding the blood and, making that get to the right place. You can be backed into a corner, and the corner is the physical improvisers. They can be your breath, like amplifying out your fear and stuff like that. They can be your internal thoughts, and you can get metaphorically trapped by them. The slasher is almost always magical. I think there might be one character who is a slasher, or one additional person who's wearing a different outfit.
Yeah.
Maybe like, I think probably all white, and maybe their body is painted white too, like a mime with kind of dark eyes and stuff like that. And kind of like similar to what the physical improvisers were wearing originally in the new play, but all ripped up. That makes sense. So like kind of looking more like the spiritual. But I'm not 100% sold on it. They might be more in the realm of the physical improvisers, but physical improvisers would have white cloaks and over the black morph suit. I just think it's visually like would be crazy.
No, visually that would be insane. That would be crazy by the end of the show when everything is all like red, and it would just contribute to like the building of the show. It would just feel naturally like it's building into something, even if you were doing bad.
Especially if there was a lot of blood and the floor started to get. So then in future scenes, even if the person's not dead yet, you'll see these bloody spots on the floor and stuff like that, and just be like, just
No,
picturing, ripping someone's heart out and having it be a physical improviser's hand like coming out of there.
Yeah, it's interesting. The fact that like the slasher part of it is not fully fleshed out. Like I'm conceiving of what you initially said, where the physical improvisers are the slasher, but like that they have like kind of like Lion King on Broadway style, like things that they're able to hold up and like collectively together they can, I guess, puppeteer like a big thing that could be like the slasher itself. And like, so yeah, they're not it, but they collectively are.
That would be sick. Yeah, maybe they're. I think part of me wanted. Yeah, I think that would be sick, especially if sometimes it was just a psychological slasher.
Yeah,
where one of the characters was doing the killing, but they were the voices in their head or something like that. Or
totally.
All right, maybe you're right that there shouldn't be an individual slasher person.
Yeah,
the physical improvisers doing but that they are playing multiple characters, and one of those characters might be a giant monster puppeted by.
It's awesome. It's an epic idea. It did blow my mind.
Okay, sweet. All right. Next sign off.
Okay, so my next sign off is I'll just riff on this, which is I've been learning guitar over the past I don't know, couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. And I don't know if this is the thing where Hal was like, Julian's going to sing a song.
I thought that when you said guitar, I thought you were going to sing. Julian, you also wrote a song.
I also wrote a song, yes, that I actually have just published publicly on YouTube now. That's getting off track. I've been learning guitar, and it's been fun, but it's been hard. I have all of the calluses on my fingers, you know, that whole concept. And there's a lot of strings, and that's difficult. And they're kind of close together, and that makes it even more difficult. I'm learning from Justin Guitar from justinguitar.com and also YouTube. And I'm trying to be relatively regimented about like just trying to go, try to go through lessons rather than just like, I don't know, jam out and not like try to learn anything.
What are you learning this week?
This week, I learned the E minor pentatonic scale.
So you're jamming on a lot of scales. Are you trying to learn how to strum to songs or stuff, or no?
It's the course is like a mixed bag where like each module will kind of have like a practice for both like, you know, riffing and also like strumming. This E minor pentatonic scale is the first like of the scales that the course is teaching. So I haven't been jamming too much on scales. The song that I'm learning right now is a classic for those our age, Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day. And I freaking love that early 2000s, late 90s pop punk crap. It's my favorite.
Awesome. Very fun. I can't wait to hear it. Maybe that'll be a future sign off.
Yeah. Maybe when I'm good enough.
And Julian's song, where can the listeners find your song on YouTube?
If you search That Night I Saw You, parenthesis, on the department website, end parenthesis, it'll be the one that's uploaded by the channel Julian B.
Okay.
So check it out if you'd like.
Thank you. All right. So my next sign up is the live action Avatar finally came out. I know we already did the whole Avatar episode, but
but we got it. We got it.
And I also got to amend from last time. I couldn't think of my favorite combo creature. It's a turtle duck. And I also lied and said metal bending was my favorite combo. No, swamp bending is definitely the best, the best one from the original.
That's how I learned the word kin.
Kin?
Yeah, from the swamp bending episode. So I learned the word kin. Go ahead.
All right. Did you watch it?
No, I just saw clips on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
But I have opinions about stuff because that's what all the clips were. Posting clips and then having opinions about things.
Well, the first episode is garbage. The first episode of this series is terrible.
How much is out? How like
all of it, or 8 episodes, equivalent of season 1.
Okay, so it goes up through book 1.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Avatar, this might be boring for you, but they basically the first episode is like really, really heinous, and then after that, it's all fine. But
what's so heinous about the first?
They like start in chronological order, so they do a lot of back in time stuff and kind of filler. They do this random thing of like them chasing down an earthbender and fighting him. The dialogue is really, really bad. Almost throughout the show, the dialogue is pretty bad, and the actors are the ages of the kids, so they're not like the most trained actors in the world, although they really look like the characters.
How things they suck. Okay.
It's just very earnest, and it's not very comedic. The Gran like reads aloud the original opening from a scroll in a way that's really cursed.
that sounds cringe.
I can't even explain it. It sounded like you had gotten someone else's grandmother who hadn't seen Avatar to read them. It was just cursed. And then basically all the plot with none of the fun zone kind of is one way of saying it. You don't have any besides kind of bossing say, you don't really have those random Avatar episodes that are kind of what makes the show.
I've heard as a result that Aang seems just like less fun. Like he's just like a less interesting or fun character.
He's super serious. He's really, really earnest the whole time. And he's like, oh my God, I got to save the world. And my family was killed. And
Yeah. Well, are you going to keep watching when season 2 comes out, or? Yeah,
but I was going to watch it regardless. It's not like it's not changing my life. It's
Makes sense. So my next sign off is I don't know where else to put this out to the world. So this is where I'm going to put this out to the world. I think that we're missing a very beautiful symmetry in the English language with the words top and bottom. In a way that we have with something like maximum and minimum. So and this can be fixed by one of two choices. Either the new words that could correspond to those two would be top and bottom, or we could have top and bottom. So all I'm saying here is that the B or P respectively, it needs to agree across the two words. They need the same consonant there, either a B or a P. And so if we did that, we could call top, because that's just the word top. But then bottom, which is such a long word, we could call
bottom.
Yeah, bottom. Or what's the? I guess we would call. I hadn't really thought about that. We would call bottom like pot. In the same way that we use like max and min.
Oh.
As shortened versions of maximum and minimum.
So top and pot.
Yeah, Tob and bot, or top and pot would be the equivalents for top and bottom. And this is just something I've been thinking about. And what do you think about it, Hal?
I would encourage you to phonetically research the origins of the word. It's possible that what you're saying is actually already the case.
And that we drifted.
I wouldn't be surprised if bottom was like bot top, or something like back top or something like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Or I don't know. I feel like they might already have, just because P and B are so similar phonetically. But
yeah, totally.
I'm open to but I had a similar thing that I was going to do as a sign off, which is I think that all the Romance languages should start every year changing one of their words to be like we pick, okay, like this language has a good version of this word, and all the languages adopt that word and give up whatever their old word was for it. And by the end of like 2 centuries, we'd all be speaking the same language.
Yeah.
So that's my concept. But speaking of bot top or whatever, you had a little bot top sign off, right? Or big top?
Oh, big top. Yes. So I'll hit my next sign off. So my next sign off is it's about the animated series Big Top Burger. Do you know this series, Big Top Burger?
Ness made me watch it.
Oh, that's very on brand. I watched it, and I thought it was amazing, and I thought it was very up your alley. I thought you would like it.
There we go.
And so I wanted to flag that. And for people who don't know, how would you describe it to someone who hasn't watched it yet, and encourage them to watch it?
It's really strange. There are a bunch of little people in a bus, and one of them looks like a clown and is scary.
Yeah, it's I think that's accurate. It's an animated series on YouTube. The episodes are very short; they're like 5 minutes. There's 2 seasons out. They have some actually like well-known people doing like the voice acting, and it's really good.
So my sign off. Oh yeah, I have another. The date is still a little bit. I'm trying to switch the date, but yeah, I already mentioned this on the other show. But I'm in a tournament. I'm in a tournament for a Shakespeare team, and if you're in New York, you should come out and support. I'll put an Instagram post on the Muprov Musings Instagram telling you to come see it. But we won the first round. I already said that on the podcast, and coming up soon, round number 2, we're gonna win again. Get ready
against a mother and a daughter. Am I correct?
Well, maybe, but I'm trying to switch what day we're doing because it conflicts with something else.
I see.
But
you might do a matrilineal beat down, or you might face some other team.
Yeah,
awesome.
But come support.
Yeah, please come support. I would run there in a minute if I was close enough.
All right, Julian, I'm out of my signups besides the special birthday gift for Julian. So.
Okay, then I'm gonna slam through the rest of the stuff rapid fire. One, I've been watching The Sopranos, and I've been watching it for a while, but fact of the matter is, I think I'm just watching it as my like man homework. Like as a man in 2023 in 2024 who's supposed to be into stuff like like narrative and Breaking Bad and stuff like that. I feel like I'm being forced by society to watch this, even though nobody's telling me to. That's just how I feel. I've also been watching a lot of SNL. And I know people think that SNL isn't funny, and yeah, largely it's not. And a lot of this is parroted from a Drew Gooden video, if you know what I'm talking about. But I think SNL is really fun to watch because you get to see the casts evolve, and it's more about that than like the actual sketches being funny. And obviously, you want the sketches to be funny, and it's great when they are. But I've been watching it and enjoying it in that way, like a sports team. And then my final sign off, which is the most substantive of these, is that I started a new improv class on Tuesday, and it's the first improv class that is being taught by a new theater in my area. So the theater is pretty swanky. Like it's going to be a theater / brewery, and the people in my class are really freaking good.
Great,
which was awesome. I was like. Yeah.
Can you teach there, or could you if you
potentially? It's all like it's also like we're all taking this class, and then like after this class, which is filled with like people who have already been improvising, they're going to hold auditions and whatnot for the various roles. But it was awesome. We started off with you, and we were all already firing on all cylinders, and it's a very supportive environment. Even though it's very big and loud and funny. I
love that Ann Arbor, Michigan is somehow like the home of 2 what sound like really great improv theaters. And I'm like trying to find stuff in New York. But my improv class is coming to an end. If you want to, I'm going to be in 3 musical shows over the course of Fridays at 6 p.m. at the Magnet. If you want to come see those, they're coming up. Go look at the Magnet calendar for musical improv level 3 shows, 6 p.m. on Friday.
Check them out. You got to.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
For Mr. Birthday?
Yeah.
Okay. Open up your birthday gift, Julian.
Okay. It's been sitting here on my desk for a while. It's very thoroughly ripped. Is it okay if I like rip the tape and like the labeling and stuff? In the process.
Yeah. You can rip it to shreds. Well, Julian's opening this. Yeah, I'm stoked about this. This was a 2-part gift. One for Julian, one for me. So I already have been enjoying my gift.
It's gonna be clothes, or it looks like clothes or a cloth or something. And now I'm pulling it out. And oh my god! Whoa! What the Schweppes? Oh, geez, Louise. Oh, sell me for free, Jesus. This is a Muprov Musings hoodie. Oh my freaking God.
Yeah, but what's cool about it, Julian?
Well, there's many things that are cool about it. One is that it is dichrome. It is both black and white and split down the middle, looking like Monokuma from Danganronpa, for those who know what I'm talking about. It's got the logo and in the way that the logo appears, and it appears to be the right size.
Well, can you try it on right now?
Yes.
We can bleep out you putting it on. So this is going to be a cut. Okay, does it fit?
Yes, it fits very well. It fits perfectly.
Okay, I tried to get your measurements from your new play costume, but they had already been deleted. So I couldn't. I was eyeballing it. Okay, that was so the final lead that I've been burying is the potential giveaway, which was that if Julian's didn't fit, Julian's sweatshirt would have been given away. But I wasn't sure that Julian's sweatshirt would fit, so I actually I ordered the split sweatshirt and then I ironed on the patch. But I have a third iron on patch.
Oh my God.
That I was getting in case Julian's did not fit. And I could get an additional sweatshirt. So it really depends on how this is all going to work.
Are we juicing the audience right now? Are we saying you need to give us something really great if we want to give this away, or?
Yeah. So this is how this giveaway works. I've been trying for decades, or not decades, but 30 episodes to get Muprov Musings to have a question of the week.
Yeah.
So this is the idea: is people email in questions about improv, and then we answer them on the show. And the idea is that if a bunch of people email us a question of the week, one of those people I will mail a sweatshirt to.
Okay, so the giveaway is a Muprov Musings sweatshirt, and the way to enter is to send us a question to our email, which is muprovmusings@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure. I might give it to the best question. I might do it randomly. If you live in like Antarctica, I can't promise that I'm going to send it to you. But if you live in Sweden, I certainly will. Yeah, there's only one. And if we only get one submission, I might just be like, eh. So it's a collective effort. You have to get your friends to also email in questions to maximize your chance of winning.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those things. Usually with a giveaway, you want to minimize the number of entrants to get the highest chance yourself. But no, you are supposed to maximize.
Yeah, I think we want to hit 10 questions.
Yeah, we want to hit 10 questions. So
one for each episode of our Fundamentals series.
This is kind of halfway giveaway, halfway Kickstarter, where only one person gets the reward if we hit our goal. But look, we all got to start somewhere. And this is a great first giveaway. And
I'm going to post it on Instagram too. So we're going to start trying to have the Instagram be more.
Wait, that's awesome.
Julian, can we take a photo of us on the Zoom with our cool sweatshirts?
Yes, we should. And we also have opposite colors, which is epic.
Yeah, Julian's strings are black and my strings are white. All right, I think that we probably have elapsed the time here.
We have
on our sign-offs. And I think we've elapsed the things that we want to say.
Yeah. Well, except for one thing, which is thank you. If you've been listening. Oh,
you curse you, Julian Bernardo.
Thank you if you've been listening to what I'm saying right now, Hal. Thank you to you for listening, and also for the epicest hoodie. This is such an epic hoodie, and I don't care. I'm gonna be just wearing this, and people are gonna say, "What the hell is that?" And I'm gonna say, "It's my podcast. Look it up." And then thank you all, also, of course, to the listeners. If you stuck it out, this has been 30 episodes, and this is a milestone. And we couldn't do it without you guys. I don't know how. Yeah. I'll believe that statement.
See me now, like you did back then. see me now? I should thought you cared. All these times they're changing. Oh, and my mind is rearranging. Can't you see me now? Like you always did. Can't you see me now? I just wanna be with you. When the times they seem so crazy, can't you see me now? Can't you see me now? See me now. Can't you see me now? I remember way back when. Oh, and times they are changing. You know, things are rearranging. Can't you see me now? Can't you see me now? Everything is changing. Can't you see me now? Can't you see me now?